Whether you've known him as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, or simply Diddy, Sean Combs is arguably one of the biggest superstars in music.
We take a look back at Diddy's early years as his music climbed up the charts and he rose to superstardom. This is how the news covered the hip-hop mogul back then.
We begin in 1997. Back then, he called himself Puff Daddy. His debut album, No Way Out, was climbing the charts, and shortly after its release, he sat down with Fox 5 for this one-on-one interview.
Today, Sean Puffy Combs is in the house, the notorious CEO of a mega-million-dollar enterprise. Bad Boy Entertainment comes from behind the mixing board into the spotlight. You a little nervous about it?
Yes, I'm definitely nervous about putting out, my own album, just like I'm nervous every time I put out a record. I think that's the way to not fall off. As soon as you get comfortable, that's when you find yourself walking right off the cliff. But I'm even more nervous now because stepping from behind the scenes in front of the scenes, it's kind of the backwards way to do it, but it's not backwards for me. It's the way that, I decided to do it.
Good Day New York was invited to a rehearsal where we talked about this moment in his life.
Every day is rough, but, I just pray. I wake up and I pray to the Lord every day. And I thank him at night, and, I just try to keep the faith, and, and just try to look at how fortunate and blessed I am, because I am, even though there are hard times, I am very fortunate and blessed still.
Hard realities are not easy to live down. Memories of another day find their place in this new beginning. Just how to erase the past.
I don't erase the past with any of my past life experiences. I use every last one of my past life experiences, whether it's success or tragedy, to help me become more of a wiser person. And but I can never forget any mistakes I've made, any successes I've had, any tragedies I've seen. I keep that all in front of my face when I wake up every morning to know what I'm faced with. I don't run from anything.
Hardcore rap is one style of hip-hop. To talk tough is to live tough. Messages not to be tempered or veiled.
Hip-hop is the voice of young America, and a lot of people have tried to come down on Big, or even myself, or other artists that are out there of having that voice of young America. If you feel frustration in our voices and our songs sometimes, you come in the communities and help us to alleviate some of the frustrations. If you feel like sometimes there may be songs that talk about killing or violence or things that we've seen hands-on, you have to come and do something to help the youth not to see that. But you should not try to snuff out their voices of them just reporting what they see. We're going to tell you what the reality is, but at the same time, we're going to have those songs that help you to dream of a better day.
I'm Marion Atwell Watson. Good Day, New York.
In 1999, Puffy was arrested on assault charges. He was accused of beating record executive Steve Stout.
Rapper Sean Puffy Combs is in court today. He is facing assault charges, and he doesn't seem to be denying them either. Mike Sheehan is in Lower Manhattan with this story. Hi, Mike.
How you doing, Mario? Well, today's date was what they call a control date. It really was a meeting with the judge to set a future date. All motions going to be put in front of the judge at that time. And it's really to finalize this thing, at least in the criminal courts. And the victim has asked that the charges be dropped. Sean Puffy Combs arrived all dolled up for court, surrounded not by his usual bodyguards, but instead with high-priced mouthpieces. The rap star faces assault charges in an attack on fellow record exec Stephen Stout back on May 15th at Stout's Midtown office. According to court records, Combs was angry about a video that played on MTV in which he was depicted as nailed to a cross. Combs had asked Stout not to run the clip, and when he refused, Puffy and two burly bodyguards allegedly wrecked Stout's office and pummeled Stout with a champagne bottle, telephone, and a chair. Stout said he suffered a broken arm and a jaw in the attack, but Combs says he never broke any part of Stout, and that's why he won't plead guilty. At any rate, both Combs and Stout have since kissed and made up. In fact, Stout has even asked the Manhattan District Attorney to drop all criminal charges.
I'm confident, hopeful everything will work out. I have to come back in August. Everything's been adjourned. I really don't have any statement besides that.
Now, Combs says there was absolutely no money ever exchanged or involved in this deal, simply an agreement between pals. At any rate, he's going to be back in court here on August the 5th, where he says, finally, maybe, these criminal charges will go away, be dropped. Goodbye. From Lower Manhattan, Mike Sheehan, Fox News. Back to you guys.
Puffy publicly apologized and Stout dropped charges. He pled guilty to a lesser charge of harassment and was sentenced to a day of anger management classes.
As 1999 was about to come to an end, Puffy found himself and then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez at the center of a Manhattan nightclub shooting, which led to the two stars being arrested.
Well, it looks like Sean Puffy Combs and his girlfriend Jennifer Lopez are in trouble with the law. It all started with a shooting at a Midtown nightclub.
Looking rested despite 17 hours in police custody yesterday, Sean Puffy Combs held court, again proclaiming his innocence in a shooting that left 3 people wounded at Club New York.
I do not own a gun, nor did I possess a gun that night. I had nothing to do with a shooting in this club. I want to make this 100% clear.
His attorney, Harvey Slovis, was not as reserved, blasting media outlets for coverage based on witness reports portraying his client as being involved.
I don't care what the police department says. The witnesses are lying. I got 30 witnesses. What do you mean? If I tell you you robbed me, that they should believe me? When is it going to be fair for Sean Puffy Combs?
But last night at his arraignment, it was prosecutors quoting witnesses who said Puffy was one of 2 men who brandished guns at the club and that the other man, 19-year-old rapper Jamal Barrows, opened fire. Barrows has been charged with attempted murder, but Puffy was charged with criminal possession of a weapon after a gun was found in the front seat of his company's Lincoln Navigator. Combs' driver and bodyguard sitting in the front seat were also charged. Combs and Jennifer Lopez, Slovis points out, were in the back seat, and charges were dropped against Lopez.
The reason Mr. Combs' case was not dismissed is a simple one, because every time someone lies, you all take it as true.
One of the things that I see in every report that is being reported, that there's an allegation that I had something to do with the shooting. And I'm trying to make it clear to you. I want to say it to you all face to face. I had nothing to do with a shooting that night in a nightclub.
Greg Treadway, Fox News.
As we told you, 3 people were wounded in that nightclub shooting that led to Puffy Combs and Jennifer Lopez, running with the law. Now, one of those victims is speaking out about what happened. Mike Gilliam has that story. He's in Midtown right now. Mike.
Well, Maria, you know, we thought we'd hear exactly what happened inside Club New York that night, or who Netanya Rubin plans to sue over her injuries. In the end, we heard none of that. A huge number of reporters and camera crews turned out to hear Netanya Rubin describe the shooting that's left her face badly injured and Puffy Combs under investigation. But she read a statement and refused to say if the rap mogul is responsible for her injuries. The mother of 2, who owns 2 beauty salons, complained about the attention given to Combs and what happened that night.
One would have hoped that those individuals who spend endless amounts of money on their own opinions and their own appearances would have given some thought to the jeopardy in which they placed my life by their reckless acts.
Rubin was shot at Club New York in the early morning hours of December 27th. Jamal Barrow, a rapper on Combs' Bad Boy Records who goes by the name Shine, is charged with attempted murder. Prosecutors say he fired to defend Combs against insults someone hurled at him, wounding 3 people. Combs and actress-singer Jennifer Lopez were stopped after the shooting when police say they fled the scene. Fox News has learned a 3rd gun in the case has been recovered after someone threw it out of Puffy's SUV. Cops allegedly found a 2nd gun in the vehicle. Puffy Combs has denied having a gun or any knowledge of guns that night. So Ms. Rubin and her attorneys refused to point fingers, saying that the investigation is still ongoing and the mystery continues. In Midtown, Mike Gilliam, Fox 5 News.
Sean Puffy Combs took the stand in a packed courtroom and testified that on the night of the shootings in Club New York, he never had a gun. Under direct examination by defense attorney Ben Brafman, Combs said that after paying a $4,000 tab for champagne, he and Jennifer Lopez were leaving. As they headed for the front door, Combs said, "I saw a guy facing me. He was mouthing off. I couldn't tell what he was saying, but it was very aggressive. Looked like a problem." Combs says seconds later he hears gunfire coming from behind him and thought he was being shot at, so he hit the floor. But he says he never saw anyone with a gun or firing one. Combs was then rushed out of the club and into his Lincoln Navigator with Jennifer Lopez and Anthony Jones, and they sped away up 8th Avenue until stopped by the police, who arrested all 3 passengers and the driver, Wardell Fenderson, when they found a gun on the floor of the Navigator. Combs flatly denied having anything to do with that gun. When asked if he offered $50 grand to Fenderson to accept responsibility for the gun, Combs answered, "Absolutely not. I didn't offer him anything." Combs was asked about something that happened in 1995, the only prior incident the judge would allow into evidence. A New York Post photographer was taking pictures of his car in front of his studio. Combs said he asked the guy for the film, saying he didn't want trouble, and the photographer just handed it over. Combs destroyed the film and was charged with and convicted of criminal mischief. But that story changed dramatically under cross-examination by Assistant District Attorney Matt Bogdanos, who had photographer Gary Miller stand up in court. Bogdanos suggested that the real story went like this. Combs threatened Miller, keeping his hand in his pocket on a black pistol and surrounding the photographer with 8 to 10 pals before Miller finally gave him the film. Puffy answered, "That's not how I remember it." Outside the court, Miller, a retired detective, called Combs a liar.
He didn't ask me for the film. He didn't say, "Please, can I have the film?" He demanded the film with other people around him, around me, saying, "Should we hit him in the back, Puff?" And that's their statement. And I gave up the film unwillingly.
As Combs retold the events of that night under cross-examination, he stuck to the same story for the most part that he told under direct, that he never had a gun and never tried to bribe the driver to take the blame for the gun. After Combs left the stand, his defense and that of Anthony Jones rested. Next up will be the defense case for Jamal Shine Barrow. He's the man who's actually accused of doing the shooting inside the club on that night. The jury is expected to get the case next week. From Lower Manhattan, Mike Sheehan, Fox 5 News.
Charges against Lopez were dropped and Puffy was acquitted. Shine Barrow, who was also at the club the night of the shooting, was convicted and sentenced to prison.
Sean Puffy Combs and the man he argued with at Club New York allegedly wanted to kill each other. That's according to newly released court documents following Puffy's acquittal. Matthew Scar Allen claimed that Puffy wanted him dead to keep him from testifying. Puffy's attorney said it was Allen who plotted to kill Combs.
Jamal Shine Barrow will have 10 years to think about making the wrong decision. The 21-year-old rapper was sentenced today for shooting and wounding 3 people inside a packed Club New York back on December 27, 1999. Barrow was convicted while his co-defendants, Sean Puffy Combs and Anthony Wolf Jones, walked free. Natanya Rubin, who was shot in the face inside the club, called Barrow a coward. She says she suffers from daily headaches and seizures from the 7 bullet fragments still lodged in her head. Shine's lawyer said he fired in self-defense.
We were very disappointed with a 10-year sentence. I think Shine is a very unusual defendant. Has so much to contribute, so much positive to contribute, especially to the community of young black males who need somebody who can deliver a message like him.
It was a sentence within the guidelines. I do believe that it was a tad heavier than I thought would be imposed. I was hoping for a sentence in the realm of between 7 and 8 years.
Assistant DA Matt Bogdanos wasted few words describing Barrow as a gun-toting braggart who is anything but a role model for today's teenagers. Barrow quoted from scripture, reciting a psalm, before apologizing to his victims, saying that he was sorry and never meant to hurt them. As he left court in shackles, he turned and said, "I love you, Mom." New York state law requires that Barrow must spend a minimum of 8.5 years behind bars before he's released, and that's provided he keeps his nose clean while upstate. The judge defended his sentence by saying the victims of this crime must live with their scars for a lifetime. From Lower Manhattan, Mike Sheehan, Fox 5 News.
In 2003, now known as P. Diddy, the music and fashion mogul ran the New York City Marathon to help city kids.
All right, P. Diddy is passing the bucks, 2 million of them to be exact. He raised it in the New York City Marathon. 1 million of it is going to city schools. The other half will go to various children's charities. Mayor Bloomberg even made a deal with him for next year involving the school's chancellor.
If you run it next year and raise another few $1 million, maybe I could get the chancellor to wear those earrings.
Okay. By the way, he finished the marathon in about 4 hours and 15 minutes.
P. Diddy got a lot of publicity with a lot of promises to give away millions when he ran the marathon last year. But is he a deadbeat when it comes to dead presidents? Len Cannon has that one for you. Len.
John, he did get a lot of publicity for running in the marathon. You're right about that. Some of the money has made its way to local charities, but not all that was promised. $1 million was set aside for local schools. $333,000 was supposed to go to the Children's Hope Foundation. So far, the foundation has only gotten $150,000, and $500,000 has gone to the school system. But Combs, who is reportedly worth several $100 million, says he'll hand over the rest of the cash when he gets proof the money is actually being used to help kids. The school's chancellor has no doubts Combs will deliver.
He's paid some of the money. I expect to live up to his commitments to the schools. I have no reason to doubt that. He has contributed some of the money, and we look forward to getting the rest.
The head of the Hope Children's Foundation says that he didn't think the money was given with any strings attached, but he went on to say that he can account for every penny.
In 2004, P. Diddy took on Broadway and made his stage debut in A Raisin in the Sun.
Well, you can call P. Diddy a lot of things: rapper, producer, even marathon runner. Now the hip-hop mogul is doing Broadway. Fox 5's Lisa Evers is in Midtown, where he's getting set to make his stage debut tonight. Lisa.
Rosanna, that's right. He is a multi-millionaire hip-hop mogul who made his fortune on music and a fashion empire. And now tonight, Sean Combs, get used to that name because that's the one he wants everyone using now, but also known as P. Diddy and Puff Daddy, is making his Broadway stage debut. Advanced ticket sales for A Raisin in the Sun at the Royale Theater are going through the roof and have already hit $2.2 million. The play, an American classic, is about 3 generations of a family struggling together under the same roof.
Raisin in the Sun, Audra McDonald, she's my favorite in the world, and I would love to see her. And Felissa Rayshard, who was The Cosby Show, love her, and I can't wait to see it. It's going to be an amazing show.
We caught up with Derek Gary, who was buying tickets to celebrate his birthday with his mother and wife. He can't wait to see how Puffy does on stage.
This may be a little tough for him. This is tough right here. This is a lot of concentration, and I don't know if he's ready for that.
He's great. I love his music. It's going to be different because he's, more in the hip-hop world, and now he's doing Broadway, so we'll see how he does. I'm sure he's going to do a great job.
And you can see all the excitement outside the theater right here. And coming up at 10, I'll bring you the latest and let you know what the audience thought of Sean Combs' performance. Reporting live from the Royale Theater in Times Square, Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News.
It was shortly after his acquittal back in 2001, Puff Daddy decided to change his name to P. Diddy. But just a few years later, in 2005, he made another change to his name.
I'm here at MTV with none other than P. Diddy, except one thing: he's no longer P. Diddy.
We had to make an adjustment. The P was getting in the way of us. It was an obstacle. Now it's just Diddy.
Here at MTV Studios, I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News.
Not one to shy away from controversy, Diddy launched his new fragrance, Unforgivable, with some major department stores refusing to show the print ad featuring a scantily clad trio.
Its mainstream release is still 2 weeks away, but already his cologne smells of controversy, starting with this print ad. Major department stores have refused to show it, saying this scantily clad trio is too racy.
I guess that, people's minds, wandered a little bit. I think the ad was successful. It's something that you believe in so much and you're so right in that you can't be forgiven for it.
And that was the news then.